Okay guys, welcome back to the Chaos Zone 1. I'm gonna say final time, it's not gonna be the final time, but the last time for these reviewy stuff things. You know what I mean, right. Okay, we're doing the Kabal now, or rather Kabal classes. Starting with Mage. Freezing Potion, 0 mana, freeze an enemy. This just doesn't seem impactful enough to put in your deck. I think it's as simple as that. I don't think really there's much more to say about it. Kabal Lackey. This seems very strong. If you play this and then say a Spellbender, a spell that's unlikely to be triggered, you can play this. Then the turn 2, you play this Annual Secret. Turn 2, you play the Excuse Me Sir, you are on fire. And yeah, you have a massive tempo lead, and that is honestly quite scary, but obviously you have to draw very well for that to happen. I still think that this card is very strong, though, because getting a secret out for free is quite a big deal. Manic Soulcaster. Now this has got premium stats, which is really nice, and a super fun battle cry. You're only shuffling a copy into your deck. You're not shuffling the copy, so you still get that friendly minion on the board. You get a copy in your deck, which is really cool. I'm gonna enjoy messing around with this card. Seems really fun. Don't know how competitive it's going to be. I mean, it does seem quite strong, but not in any existing mage deck, so we'll have to find out what decks spring up because of this, perhaps. Potion of Polymorph. This is just 1 mana less than a normal Polymorph, so it's not that much better in that regard. However, it activates on your opponent's turn, which means that if they play, say, Emperor Thuristan or Ragnaros, that end of turn effect isn't going to trigger, which is a big deal. However, your opponent can play around it, potentially, if they have smaller minions. So you've got a bit of a trade-off here. I'm not sure how much more beneficial this is over playing just Polymorph itself. I guess there's some mind games aspect to it as well, but you play around this the same way you play around Mirror Entity, which is a little bit disappointing. Either way, it's going to be interesting, I'd imagine. Volcanic Potion. This is a Demon Wrath that doesn't only affect demons, and it's for Mage. Mage already has a lot of board clears, we're giving them even more, which is a great idea. I'm all for board clears, especially cheap ones that can help you survive the early game. Perhaps we'll see more of a grinding out the game Reno control mage, perhaps. Cryomancer. Gain +2/+2 if an enemy is frozen. So that makes this a 5 mana 7/7 if an enemy is frozen. The chances of an enemy being frozen fairly low, I'd say. If you're running a deck that has lots of freeze effects in it, you aren't going to have very many minions. You're not particularly going to care about getting the 7/7 on the board, I don't think. This doesn't currently fit into any existing archetypes of mage. It might be used in a new kind of frost mage, not a freeze mage, a frost mage. But I'm not sure it's impactful enough for that, so we'll see. Kabal Crystal Runner. This is just a thing from below, but without taunt, and instead of just hero powering to decrease the cost of it, you have to play secrets, although it costs 2 less for each secret. So there's a lot of mixing it up. I don't think this is as good as Thing from Below. It's still going to be strong. Anything that you can decrease the cost to 0 is going to be strong, just because of the tempo swing potential. But the lack of taunt is a big deal, actually, on Thing from Below. So yeah, probably probably going to be used in secret decks that they're trying to push with Kabal Lackey and some of the other cards from the last expansion, Karazhan. Greater Arcane Missiles. So you're dealing 3 damage to 3 enemy minions. No, 3 random enemies. So this 3 damage can hit face and be completely wasted, which would be really, really bad. Although, if used with an empty board, you're dealing 9 damage to the enemy hero, which is a fair amount. It's kind of similar to a Pyroblast. It's only 1 damage off a Pyroblast, but for 3 mana less, which is okay. I think if you compare this to, say, Explosive Shot, which does the same amount of damage, where Explosive Shot is more controlled. Explosive Shot is only 5 mana, and still didn't see any play. So I don't think this is going to be that great, to be honest. But prove me wrong. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing all of this, is so that I can make these predictions and see how accurate they were. Ink Master Solia. If your deck has no duplicates, the next spell you cast this turn costs 0. Now this is similar to Khun the Forgotten King, the Druid legendary, where it has the potential for some massive swings. Khun, I think, yeah, both Khun and this are very, very similar. You can have massive card advantage swings if you use this in conjunction with, say, Cabalist Tome, massive board swing if you use this and then a Flame Strike, and also some massive, like, you could use this potentially in some kind of burst mage where you're playing Master Solia, a Pyroblast, and then, say, a Frostbolt and an Ice Lance for a total burst of 17 as opposed to just Fireball, Frostbolt, which is 15. So that 2 damage probably doesn't mean a whole lot, but you do get this 5/5 on the board as well, which could threaten lethal. I don't know. It's you have to consider these things, but right. So Priest, Priest have got a lot of good cards actually this expansion, and I am very excited for them because I really do like Priest. Pint-sized potion. I hope you didn't disenchant your Shadow Word Horror. Yeah, that's right. This, in conjunction with Shadow Word Horror, is going to be really, really cool. So it kills all minions with 5 or less attack for 5 mana, which is most minions nowadays, I'd say. It's quite rare that you get a minion with 6 or more attack, so a full board clear for only 5 mana is pretty good, and it only gives enemy minions -3 attack this turn, so your 2 or more attack minions will stick on the board. Seems quite strong, and obviously can be used without Shadow Word Horror if you just want to trade, or if you want to use Potion of Madness, Cabal, other stuff like that. It's really, really interesting card, has some good combos. So Potion of Madness, basically a Shadow Madness, but instead of getting an enemy minion with 3 or less attack, you're only getting with 2 or less attack. Now, while this is a big change, the difference in cost from 1 mana to 4 mana is absolutely massive. And I think that this could really help Priest survive into the late game where they can steamroll and like recover from aggro decks as well. Mana Geode. Or yes, Geodes. We're going to call it Geode. This is finally the Priest 2-drop that we've been hoping for. Well, maybe not quite the one that we were hoping for, but it's still a Priest 2-drop, so it's going to be okay, I guess. I'm not sure whether it fits in Priest decks, to be honest. We'll have to see. But the effect is quite strong. If you heal it, you could use it with a Circle of Healing. You could just like hero power it. You can use it with the legendary that we'll come on to in a bit. Priest have lots of opportunities to heal this, and getting those 2/2 crystals is going to be pretty good. Yeah, it seems okay. Also, you can buff that with the Kabal Talon Priest. If you give it that +3 health, it's much more likely to stick around, and you can heal it and summon more Geodes. So this 3 mana 3/4. You've got premium stats, and you're giving the minion +3 health as this battle cry, which is quite a strong battle cry. I am a little bit scared at this point that Priest might become too mainstream, a little bit too strong in the early game, just from the addition of these 2 cards. But yeah, it remains to be seen. Greater Healing Potion. So I'm going to liken this to a healing wave. I think the 12 health as opposed to the potential of 14 health is a good comparison. And would you pay 1 extra mana on healing wave to guarantee health for healed rather for 14 every time? Most likely, yes. So healing for 12, you're most likely going to use this on your hero, is quite a big deal. You could and the cost of 4 is not too overpriced, I think, because Priest often floats a lot of mana. Yeah, I really do like this card. We're finally getting some healing back in Priest, where Paladin and Shaman seem to have taken over. Draconid Operative. So this guy is going to be really cool in Dragon decks. The fact that you get to see 3 cards in your opponent's deck is a big deal. If you're holding a dragon isn't really, you know, that this condition is often met, especially as more of these dragons have been added, and even without the battle cry, it's a 5 mana 5/6. So you get to see 3 cards in your opponent's deck, and you get to take one, well, not take one, gain a copy of one as a semi-conditional. I mean, it is conditional, but likely it's going to go off of a premium statted minion. That is very strong. So yeah, I think that Dragon Priest, due to this card and another one coming up, is probably going to be a little bit prevalent, let's say. Kabal Song Stealer, Battlecry Silence minion. I'm a little bit disappointed that it doesn't gain the effect of what it's silenced, because it is called Song Stealer. You're not stealing the song. You're just like Kabal Song Shusher. It doesn't quite have the same ring to it. Yeah, it's a little bit of a boring card, but this silence effect comes at almost no extra cost. You're paying 1 health for this silence, whereas most other silence minions have drastically reduced stats for their effect. I think it's a boring card, but it's a balanced card. Raza the Chained. Man, this card excites me a lot. If your deck has no duplicates, which obviously if you put this guy in, it doesn't, your hero power now costs 0 for the entire rest of the game. So you can actually play him on turn 5, or her, whoever he is, and then immediately heal. So you can consider that. Then turn 6, if you play just the card, you can heal for 2, play just the card, and then heal for 4 immediately. Not to mention, you can combo it with like Finley, with Shadow Form, with all kinds of hero power, like duplication things. It's really exciting. And this is probably, if I don't get them, going to be one of the first legendaries or first cards that I craft from this expansion. And then we have the reason that Dragon Priest is probably going to be very strong. Dragonfire Potion. Deal 5 damage to all minions except dragons. Now, it's 5 damage is a large amount. This is a Ysera Awakens for 6 mana, but you don't have to get it from Ysera. You don't have to rely on that RNG. You can clear the board and keep some of your minions alive. One of the main things about this is that if you're playing a dragon mirror match, it won't affect their dragon, so it might be a dead card. But I think against non-dragon decks, this is going to be brutal, as it clears their board and leaves the priest's board untouched. Yeah, that's very strong. And then we have Warlock, the last of the Kabal classes. Blood Fury Potion. Gotta be honest, this card seems very lackluster. You're giving a minion +3/+3, but only if it's a demon. Otherwise, it's just +3 attack, which for 3 mana is definitely not worth it. So you're using this on a demon, which means it's a conditional, semi-Blessing of Kings. It's halfway between Mark of Charge and Blessing of Kings. And it's worse than both of them. Yeah, we'll see whether that sees play. I don't imagine it's strong enough to. Unlicensed Apothecary. 3 mana 5/5 is very large. However, whenever you summon a minion, not just play a minion, you're dealing 5 damage to your hero. I think this 5 damage is often not going to matter. You might trade this in twice, and if you play a 4-drop and then a 5-drop, so if you play on curve, or if you use a spell, so you could use, I don't know, 4-cost spells. There's one coming up actually. This could be good. So you're dealing 10 damage to hero for a massive tempo advantage. I think it could see play, but this 5 damage might be a little bit too much. There we go, there's the 4 mana spell. Blast Crystal Potion. Destroy a minion and one of your mana crystals. So, late game, this is just destroy a minion for 4 mana, which is very good. Especially as the only other Warlock removal was Siphon Soul single target removal, or Twisting Nether. We're not even going to consider 2. So Blast Crystal Potion late game is very, very strong. Mid game, I think it's okay. The effect of destroying one of your mana crystals is quite bad. It is quite a detriment, but depending on what you destroy, most likely going to be worth it. So I think that this is quite a strong card for a more control-orientated Warlock, which is exciting. Crystal Weaver, 4 mana 5/4, so premium aggressive stats. It isn't quite as good as defensive stats, but Battlecry give your minions, I assume, on the board, +1/+1. It itself is not a demon, which isn't great. Also, how many demons are you likely to have on the board? Well, if you're using Implosion and stuff like that, quite a few maybe. If you play Imp Gang Boss and it takes a couple of hits, quite a lot. So perhaps could see play in some kind of Demon Zoo, but other than that, I think it's quite a lackluster card. Sea Devil Stinger, otherwise known as Cho'Gil. This effect here it's interesting, I'll give it that, but I'm not sure how impactful it's going to be. Often the Murlocs that you play are low cost, so you're taking very little damage for very little benefit, and at the price of playing a 4 mana 4/2, which isn't great stats wise. So you're going to have to play a big Murloc for this to be worth it, which means you have to have a big Murloc in your hand on the turn that you play this. So it's fairly conditional, but it could be interesting. There are some new Murlocs that have been released that I'll go over in the next video probably, that could be comboed with that quite well. Right, Fellfire Potion. This is a Dragonfire Potion that isn't picky at all. You're just dealing 5 damage to everything. It's a bigger Hellfire, I guess. Just dealing that 2 extra damage for 2 extra mana, which is a good trade-off, I think. And 5 damage is most likely going to clear up next to everything. So in that respect, it's a 2 mana cheaper Twisting Nether, which is actually very good. Cabal Trafficker. At the end of your turn, add a random demon to your hand. So you're guaranteed at least 1 random demon in your hand from this card as a 6-mana 6/6. That seems very, very strong. Well, not very, very strong. It seems good, right? And obviously if it sticks on the board, which it might, because it's a 6-mana 6/6, you're getting more demons. You're getting card advantage, and you don't have to tap for it. Yeah, I think this is good, but it may fuel some kind of demon deck like they're trying to push here. And then we have some of the demons that this could add to your hand. Abyssal Enforcer is just a much bigger, what's it called? Dread Infernal. And I'll tell you, the difference between dealing 3 damage and dealing 1 damage is absolutely huge. 3 damage is going to clear all of your opponent's totems, and feral spirits and stuff, especially. Screw you, Shaman. It comes out a turn later, but 6/6 for 7 is absolutely fine. With a Hellfire strapped on the top of it is very, very good. So I think this card is absolutely gonna be playing Reno Shaman. Reno Warlock, that's what I meant. And I really like the idea of it. Then we have Cruel the Unshackled. Got more chains and stuff. I don't know why we've got chains and stuff happening here, but we have a 9-mana 7/9, so the opposite of Mulganus. And the battle cry here is, if your deck has no duplicates, summon all demons from your hand. Meaning you massively overcommit to the board and then your opponent brawls, perhaps. But it's similar to Cthulhu N'Zoth, like that. It's a massive commitment of mana, and you try and use it as a here, look what I've got. I have lethal next turn. Can you deal with it? Kind of thing. So yeah, this is interesting. I'm not sure how strong it is, but it is going to be fun, especially if you try and combo it with Doom Guards and Power Overwhelmings and things. Right, then Cabal. These are the Cabal neutrals. First of all, you've got your standard Battlecry Discover, one of the cards that's boring but could be exciting if it discovers the others. We'll have to see. Cabal Chemist, add a random potion to your hand from any class, so any of these. I'm not going. They're not here, are they? No. Any of the potions that these classes have access to, Dragonfire, Fellfire, Polymorph Potion, could be any of those, and as a 4-mana 3/3, that battle cry is quite strong. So you are effectively drawing a card. I think most of the potions are good. You do want to have them. So yeah, 4-mana 3/3 draw a card is quite strong. And then we have another 4-mana 3/3, but this one is Kazakus, the leader of the Cabal. Yeah, if your deck has no duplicates, you create a custom spell. Now, I'm not going to go into details about what that spell is, but I'll let you know that it seems really, really, really cool. So you could like clear the board, summon some stuff, yeah, all kinds of random stuff. There's loads and loads of combinations of effects that Kazakus can create, and it makes this card really, really exciting and definitely worth playing. So similar to the other leaders of the groups, I think Kazakus is actually really, really cool and will probably be played. Well, that's it. I said it was the final one. I was wrong. I do have to do the rest of the neutrals, but that is in the next video. So guys, I'll see you then. The +5/+5 on a random minion is going to be absolutely huge. Most of the time, if you Blessing of Kings something, it becomes very, very difficult to deal with, and you're